Hi, Linda. Thanks for having me, and it's great to see you again. Hey, I want to come back, as I've thought a lot about what you and I have been talking about what your challenges are as CIO, and this is important stuff. This is how we make our next promotion, how we help the business, or how we don't. And when you put it that way, it gave us a lot of time to think. So I want to talk to you a little about today the challenges that you've talked to us about, some of the solutions that we've been thinking of at a high level, and I want to go all the way through to next steps, including a high-level architecture to let you know that this all fits together and actually does solve problems. So when I say what is it, it is platform as a service, which was the subject of our last discussion. And I also want to let you know that there is a life cycle for both your new applications and your old, and your legacy, and a path to bring them together. So we'll be solving problems, we'll be talking about the architecture, and we'll be getting to how we might incorporate all this. The first thing I want to do in looking at the meeting objectives is to repeat to you the challenges that you gave me. So I brought a prop to make this just a little bit easier for me and to save the time of writing. The challenges you talked about in serving the business better and becoming a better partner to them is to deliver services faster, to improve service levels, and to improve the cost effectiveness of IT as a component of overall cost and speed to the business, delivering solutions. You said that you've got an issue with the CFO, the CEO, the COO, and the head of sales for several reasons. And those revolve around three business drivers. So let me just write those up real quick. The first one is agility. We care about agility because it's our ability to help the company create, deliver, and capture business. We care an awful lot about cost because if we're spending it on maintenance, we're not spending it on innovation. And right now, the industry says, and I think you'd agree, that you're at about 80-20. Maintenance to innovation. So what we'd like to do is flip that, change this relationship so that we're serving the business better and lower risk at the same time. A tall order? Yes, it has been up to now, but we're going to bring you tools today that are going to address all three. Okay? So what's risk? Risk is the idea that if the company isn't serving the business, if the company isn't serving the customer's business, if IT isn't serving the company so they can, that then drives the sales department, the other department heads, the lines of business, outside of IT to find other alternative solutions. When they do that, they introduce governance, they introduce quality, and they introduce compliance risks, all of which are bad for the business. A lot of them then go back to agility, in the end cost more than they meant to, and they drive costs through the roof because you then become the integrator. Bad, bad, bad. So we'd like to unify things under a common cloud architecture. So going back to our meeting objectives one more time, we're going to look at, can we reach a common agreement, understanding of what it is that goes into the cloud? And second, can we align what you need done to solutions that we can bring you? In other words, do our solutions fit? If we can get there today and do some next steps, I think we're going to be both pretty happy. So let's talk about what goes into the cloud. What goes into the cloud is a lot of Oracle technology that you're really used to right now. You've been using Oracle for 10 years. Every time Oracle brings out a new major release, it's building on strength. It went from the internet to grid and now to cloud. They all have built upon each other. This is, again, a measure of safety for you, a measure of security, and a measure of unification. It's going to drive agility in, cost out, risk out. So I'm going to overlay this now with another set of capabilities that serve all three of these drivers. Those cloud capabilities include a standard services catalog, pre-configured services that you can pick and choose from like a restaurant menu, and you can do it rapidly. no negotiation between development and IT, and no lag time for selection, ease of use. Second, chargeback, showback, and self-serve. Those work together for accountability. That's important. If I can do chargeback, showback, my business knows and my developers know how much they're using, and so do my financial advisors in my CFO office, and so now we can align the speed and self-service use with how much we're costing, so that we can say to ourselves, is this the highest, best use of our resources? Second, multi-tenancy, centralized management, all sitting on engineered systems, drives scale and throughput, cost down, agility up. Now let's take a look at the architecture. Also simple. Sitting on engineered systems, and we've talked about the Exadata and the Exalogic to drive throughput through the roof, cost down, and simplicity up. We're then going to give you two components of platform as a service. One is the middleware that serves the application layer, the user interface layer, the forward-facing part of your application. And second, the database that serves as the repository and provides the speed. This is the engine, and this is the headlights. When we put these together in standard services with self-serve, we can very rapidly create, deploy, and put into production applications that took weeks or even months, and you said 13 weeks on the average to deploy a new environment, down into hours or days. From weeks and months to hours and days. That's real cost, and that's greater asset utilization for your team. What does that do? That drives up agility. So if I'm able, on the average, to cut 10 weeks out of every project to deliver, that's real agility. 2.5 months of economic benefit could be millions. Could be the difference between a captured opportunity and a lost one. I've earned my seat at the table with the COO and the CEO. That's good stuff. How am I going to serve the CFO? Well, I'm going to drive all those people costs out, all those time costs out, and I'm going to share these resources to drive my utilization through the roof. When I do that, I drive cost out. My CFO is happy. When I can show how each of my projects has its charges aligned to it correctly and accurately, I can both manage to that and I can drive it down. Again, I've now made a partner out of my CFO. Cost out, agility up, revenues captured, company's happy. This would be for all of my new applications. So what about my legacy ones? Let's talk about legacy for a second, because it is quite a little bit of our environment. Our legacy applications today don't follow this. Somebody else integrated some middleware, and each one's different. At the project level, they do it differently. Some database, and each one's different. Some network, some storage, some server, and it goes on and on and on. We call that a siloed environment. We want to take that to the next level and start to apply some of these same standardized service concepts in phases as the business needs it and as you can supply it. So we're going to put in here standards, taking advantage of some of these aspects. And finally, as we do that, we're going to optimize both our speed, our scale, and our cost. And so we need a method in order to get us from today to our future vision tomorrow. That method has to do with working with Oracle on a customized set of workshops to give you some education. And actually, I think the way to kick this off is to pull everybody together for our Cloud and Innovation Seminar on December 10th. So I'm going to mark that down and ask you to really think about it as a turning point in our thought process and in our relationship. Now let's talk about this one more time in one more visual. If we are able to take the 80-20 that we said here, I've covered it up, maintenance to innovation, and move just 10% and make it 70-30, What have we done in reality? What we've done in reality is we have taken our innovation and increased it by 50%. Simple math, 50%. Faster and greater speed to value, cost out, risk avoided, next step set. Let's go back and ask ourselves, how are we looking against some proof points? We've seen other customers do this. GE did a 10-fold faster improvement in deployment. The U.S. Customs Division, 75% reduction in cost, and ANR maintained 99.95 availability. Putting these three things together, we address our drivers, our risks, and we move our business forward. Thank you.